My name is Rudy Zeugner, and I'm now 85 years old. On the 27th of March 1945, I belonged to the Reichsarbeitsdienst, or German, Nazi German labor force. The Reichsarbeitsdienst was mainly there in order to show that we should be busy and working for Germany, Nazi Germany, and of course be indoctrinated with Nazi ideas at the same time. We got all a call-out paper, and this is the call-out paper. And it said in the first paragraph, from 0.00 on, you are soldier. We weren't civilian clothes because we changed in the morning, left the Arbeitsdienst uniform there, but nevertheless, from midnight of that day, we were actually soldiers. We didn't worry about it because we were still among friends. We knew each other, and when you're 16, you're not trembling and things like this. Yeah, whatever happens, that happens. We had to march to a railway station in the country, and the Arbeitsdienst officers, they had weapons with them, so it was armed, no one could run away. The train took off, not very far from Krems in Austria. To our surprise, about after 10 or 12 minutes, we stopped in a very small railway station. We didn't know at first, but it was air raid. So we had to get out and find some air raid shelter, normally in a cellar or construction like that, but in that small village there was no such thing. And at the same time, I don't know by coincidence or what happened there, 2 English fighter planes flew over the train, and that made a horrible noise. Maybe 40, 50 seconds that there was a confusion. Where can we go? Where can we go? And then one of the young men who was not the brightest, and he often came to me and asked me, oh, what should I do? He had problems and so on. But he came up to an idea to me. And he said, this will be the time to flee. The right time to flee. Confusion everywhere. I take your suitcase, I take my suitcase, I run after you, but you take the lead. You go ahead. I had about 1 second to think about it. Go ahead, flee, yes. But he was a strong bloke, but he wanted someone else to lead him. And he ran after me. As soon as we were about 100, 250 meters, we were out of sight of all the others, who were still in this confusing situation there. We all expected that those 2 planes would fire, but they didn't. But it was enough for us to get away, down the vineyards and into the forest. We went back to the main railway line and go east by train to Vienna, and then we see how it's going. But when we arrived at that small railway station, there were only 5 others from the whole group. So we were over 350. And if there are 7 missing, well, that's about 2% of the whole consignment there. And they certainly would inform, watch out for 7 deserters. The other thing was the Wehrpass. This is the Wehrpass that everyone over 16 had to have. The Wehrpass had to be shown at every exit or entrance to a railway station. And anything entry, when you moved from one unit to the other, everything, this had to be recorded. The idea was that I jump off when it goes to Hamburg, go into the floodplains, disappear, then during the night make my moves. However, they went on to Vienna. I don't know what happened to them. I think it was not good what happened to them. They thought, well, I'm going home, and then I decide what to do next. But they were already soldiers, like I was. Huh? I went to my former landlady before I was called up to the Reichsarbeitsdienst, and stayed there for a day or two. And then I went on to Sauerbrunn. My mother was here in the house of my grandfather. My mom was very surprised that I'm home again. She was concerned that the local authorities, they could see me. So I was thinking of what will I do now. Many things go through my mind. One option was to disappear in the forest, but getting food and water, and from time to time during the night go to my mother's place. She could even end up in prison because she would harbor her son. The other option was to go west in order to come to the American Allied forces because they didn't shoot people, whereas the Russians, anything could happen. Because the Russians were moving forward so fast and there were hardly any public transport, walking along would not be fast enough. You could hear the tanks, the fire of the battle going on, coming closer to Sauerbrunn. On Easter Saturday, the morning, they were there already. So what shall I do now? Shall I stay? Shall I go to the forest? And I heard some people who did go to the forest and hid and were caught by the Russians. This is where the strange decision came, what to do. The situation of one who thinks as a 16-year-old. I felt more or less my peers with whom I were at the Reichsarbeitsdienst, they were my closest friends now. I knew where they were in Bischkopf. I thought I'd tell them I was lost when the air raid came. And I come back again. First of all, I went to Wiener Neustadt, which was the immediate city after, and the last train going to Wiener Neustadt. And then I wanted to take the train to Vienna. No. The last train has gone already to Vienna. There's no more trains to Vienna. There was one of the main train lines in all the country. But you can try, maybe they have one in Sollenau, the next town. Walk to the next station. But that was not so easy because a lot of refugees were walking there as well along the train lines, because the train lines usually took a short line. I could see perhaps hundreds of people walking before me. And I was a youngish man, maybe 35 or something. He looked like Hungarian to me. And when the Russian small planes came, they called them washing machine because they went like this. I threw myself into the ditch there next to the embankment of the railway, but I saw him falling over because he was shot. So just maybe 30 minutes before me. And sometimes they went just along the railway line and shot people rather than just across. So I had to be acting very fast. In Baden, when I passed Baden, which was the largest city there, I saw a huge fire. It was a plywood factory, yeah. And it was all a fire. It was a huge fire. No firemen, nowhere around. The dead were lying there because they were the Russian planes before. And they were the splitter bombs. People were just killed by means of those shrapnel. Yeah. So that was just about 5-10 minutes before I arrived. It was like a ghost situation. 2 stations after, maybe an hour, I caught a train in a place called Pfaffstätten. There was a locomotive standing with one carriage. And they said, this is the last train to Vienna. So the whole south line, one carriage left, and I caught that. I got the time around late in the evening, close to midnight. And the train was really crowded, full. Half of them were almost all made there, half of them were wounded, war wounds and bleeding, and it was half a hospital in there. And then I arrived in Vienna, and transferred directly to Brno and from there to Vyškov, because on my caller paper it said I should go to the Panzergrenadier Division, so the Battalion 10 in Wisła. North of Brno, the whole area there was a huge encampment, military encampment, about 30 kilometers from here to there. So it was Easter Sunday morning when I arrived there at the gate. I was a bit jittery when I came to the door. And there was a corporal there. Oh, Battalion 10. Oh no, you're in the wrong place here. You're in the wrong place. You have to go back to Brno and then go to the northwest of Brno. Right? This? The northwest of Brno, where the other extreme of that area, and Battalion 10 is there. There you have to go. He let me go. He let me go. I couldn't believe it. He let me go. He could have said, oh, well, join us, doesn't matter. Of course, then I took the next train to Brno and was still quiet. I thought, I'm not in a hurry to get out now to the northwest of Brno. I just go and sit down in the cinema. It was a Czech film, can't remember things, couldn't understand. But coming out, oh, about 25 kilometers, artillery and all kinds of weapons they could hear already. The German army and the Soviet armies, they clashed there, large amounts of troops there. I'm not going to that other place there on the army camp. I'll disappear. And the best would be going back to Austria. Well, at least I knew my way, I speak the language. And the Czech people, they were not very friendly to the Germans because they suppressed them. The first step was to get the next train from Brno to the border station, which is called Břeclav, or Lundenburg in German. There you had to change to the German train. On the Czech territory, you were on a Czech train. Although, remembering that I'm still a German soldier, but without uniform. So it was dark already when I left, and I arrived at the railway station in Lundenburg around 11 o'clock in the evening. And what to do next? There's no chance of getting into the fields and trying to sneak away after. So I had to go through the guard. I took the Wehrpass, showed it to him, explained where I was, what everything meant. And he took time with me, had a good look at everything. He asked me questions. But he found something in there is not quite right, according to his, because it's said there on the 27th of March I should be soldier already in Wisła. So I tried to excuse, and he was not convinced about that. He said, well, I cannot decide, but in the morning the officer of the whole area will come and check out things, and he will look at you and talk with you. So in the meantime, I have to get you into the building here. The first room here is a corporal, and the second room is not a comfortable room, but that's the only room we have. And I went past the corporal, so he sort of guarded me. He was responsible for me to watch for the rest of the night. And what did the corporal say to me? He said, at 3 o'clock, the last train to Vienna is going, is running. You want to come with me? Because the Russians, you could hear the Russians about 15 kilometers away. It was only a matter of hours until the front would be coming towards there. He said, I'm going with the last train. You want to come with me? Instead of guarding me, he invited me to flee with him. The train from Lundenburg to Vienna was not here yet. But he said it will come on this rail. So we have to go beyond that and lay down in a ditch in the wet, March, rains a lot. I was very tired, yeah. But I was still mentally awake enough in order to make decisions. Before we actually go on the train, we have to watch 3 guards coming along. And those 3 guards, they usually had boots. So we were standing at the wrong side of the train and watched between the rails, you know, when they were walking. Which carriage will they enter first? And then we found out that they decided to be in the last carriage. So we went more forward. So in the next stop they would go forward. And we went then the last of those carriages. Right? And moved again later on because we always watched them where they go. Corporal stayed on the train. He had already civilian clothes. What happened to him, I have no idea. But I decided I'm not going to the terminal there. I decided to get out before, the smaller station. And as I was thinking about that, there came an air raid alarm again. It was about 5:30 in the morning. The area there where I got out was all bomb craters, because it was a weapon factory. There were not hundreds, there were thousands of bomb craters. The train line itself was on an embankment. Getting off already down the embankment, and then you had to wiggle between the edges of those bomb craters. This was very hard to balance through, because if you slip once and then the fresh rain made the soil so soft, and then you would slide down, and then the bottom of every bomb crater was plenty of water, rainwater. So once you slip down on your own, it's a pretty bad situation. You're stuck there, looking up there. Can hardly crawl up there. But I didn't slip. I didn't sleep, but I didn't slip. Then I made it with the Metropolitan Transport through Vienna. There was no control, just walked through. And then I went up to Klosterneuburg again, to my lady. Enormous strategy of the Soviet army came in. General Zhukov, one of the leaders there of the Red Army, he knew that they haven't finished the protection. They haven't even started protecting Vienna from the north. So during the night, in the Vienna woods, they used small roads and everything. They must have had enlarged maps. every single road, every single track, everything right. Soviet troops by the thousands. And in a hurry, in the morning, the Soviet troops did not attack any direction of Vienna, Fortress Vienna. No, they were standing at the entrance of the north of Vienna. And of course, in the north of Vienna, there was Klosterneuburg. Yeah, and I was there. So the first Russian soldier whom I encountered, he was a youngish man. He said, "Ura, ura." In German, Ur means watch. He had already on his arm outside, not under the sleeve, outside. He had maybe 20 watches on there. The Germans had enormous amounts of troops inside Vienna, and they could try to break out through the north again. So I decided to flee. I had a raincoat. It was not raining, but I had a raincoat with me, and a short-handled axe, as well as a tin of margarine, packet of salty biscuits. That was all. I left my landlady there, and there was the curfew between 7 and 7 as well. I thought, there's no traffic. 2 o'clock in the morning, who should be driving around? The streets all dark. And just at that moment, about 200 meters away, came a Soviet motorbiker, a soldier, actually 2, one in the sidecar towards me, but I didn't know whether they've seen me or not. So that's why I ran like I could, as fast as I could, like Usain Bolt. 9.66 in 100 meters. And ran into the trunk of a tree I saw the trunk of the tree, but I didn't worry about it. I ran into the tree and fell down behind. So that they haven't seen me. But it was just at the last moment. You know, Kostanabak is actually a very old city, maybe 1,000 years old. And there were many small ways, pathways down the hill. Then you came into the floodplains of the river Danube. And there was a bridge, but the bridge was blown up by the Germans before they left. Nevertheless, across the ruins, there were some bazookas there. So I took one bazooka in case another corner should be someone trying to attack me. But it was too cumbersome to carry a bazooka all the time. A few people lived there. And then I told them my story, where I come from, etc. They took me in, they were very friendly. And then I met another young one amongst them. He was maybe a year younger than I. And we raided those empty places because we didn't have anything to eat. We couldn't find anything to eat. So whatever we found, we just put together and shared it with others. I just picked one of the holiday houses because there were quite many. It was a 2-story holiday house, picked the nicest one. Nobody came because there was no traffic between Vienna and Klosterneuburg at that time. Then ventured once to the council officers of Klosterneuburg, and they gave out food rations, 250 grams of dried peas, and I think 125 grams of horse flesh. These rations, they were practically nothing. 250 grams of peas, you can eat it in one go. I got to know one 30-year-old who also came from Burgenland. He lived there with his uncle and auntie, and he wanted to go back to Burgenland. We didn't go on the first day of that, until one day then the Soviet Navy came up. They came up on the river Danube from Romania and Russia. We organized thrown away bikes, a few bits and pieces. We headed back on the 7th of May, 1945. We decided we leave already at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. And we went through Vienna 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. All the tanks and troops moving. We waved some of them and they waved back. Although before 7 o'clock we shouldn't be out there, but they were happy, we were happy. We went through. Thousands of troops around us. Then we would apply this old German saying, Frechheit siegt. You know, in a situation like this where you don't know what to do, is it too dangerous or not? Just go ahead. Whatever comes, comes. Right? Rather than be careful about something. For I tried. Frechheit siegt. And once through Vienna, that we saw something coming on the big road there, coming towards us. Tens of thousands of Russian tanks, artillery, everything. So we hid in a few ditches. After the Schwichert area, he wanted to go home to the northern part of Burgenland. And later on I heard that he was, in the next town, he was held up by drunk Russians and they beat him. But I went on to Sauerbrunn. Yeah. But every village I entered, it was a matter of surviving drunk Russians. So I always hid my bike somewhere, went in, asked some farmers and so on how the situation is, and they say, don't go through here, go on this track here. The next village I said, oh no, don't try at all, whether back or front. There are too many there. In one of those I left my bike and then I went there on to Eisenstadt. It was only 7 kilometers to go. And in Eisenstadt I found friends whom I knew, and I slept there in the night. And there was a loud shouting everywhere, Wojna kaputt, Wojna kaputt. So the war ended. And they were shooting in the air. I was tired already from bike riding and so on. And I said to the back of one of those manure trucks, horse-drawn. Then he indicated that he's going left now. And I thought, well, another one is following him. They ask him, are you going straight or are you turning off? He said, no. I still go a while. You can see it on the back. So I thought he sat in the back, and all of a sudden, I didn't notice, a Russian officer came on his bike, and to him it sounded suspicious that I was just about changing the dump trucks in the middle of the road. So what do you do? Where are you going? Are you a German soldier? No. Are you a spy? You're too young for a spy. So he said, well, if you don't tell me the truth, I'll take you to the Kommandantura. And at every Kommandantura they had the Jewish, communist, Russians, and they spoke German. But he let me go then. That was just 3 kilometers before we came home. And my mother was just at the front gate of my grandfather's house. And she couldn't believe that the war ended on the 8th of May 1945, and I was home already on the 9th of May. As a 16-year-old, you can't have sort of a mature outlook on what will happen, and nobody could actually foretell, right? But instinctively, I seem to have done the right thing because because I survived. I haven't forgotten my friends, for the Arbeitsdienst probably lost their lives. I think all this waste of life, young people, 16 years, we were all born 1928, we were all 16 years old. And the people still fight wars, still are fighting and so on. They haven't learned. Although in theory I was a soldier, during all that time I have not fired a single shot at anyone, neither killed anyone. So that makes me happy also that I haven't hurt anyone at all.